Alright, I hope this works. Let's stay about where you were. Oh, okay. Hi, Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com. Hey, I'm going to show my friend Wesley here how to do a Qigong exercise called the crane, or the white crane, or white crane pulls wings. This is a really good exercise to do in the morning or the evening. It's just a nice relaxing kind of expansion and contraction of your system. In our style, every movement expands and contracts, and this is a simple way to start doing that. So I'm going to have you face me this time, just because of the video, and we're going to face each other and stand wider than your hips. So you're about kind of like riding a skinny horse. So you're, or maybe not that skinny horse, but about like that. And you have a nice circular feeling in here. Your knees are bent, sitting into this crease right in here, rather than being forward like that. Increase, drop the hips back a little bit, lift the spine right up to the top of your head. And we're going to hold a circle in your hands like this. And the elbows are going to be just a little bit lower than the wrists. Just a little bit. That's too far. That's not enough. So right about. This can be used as a standing meditation. You could stand here for an hour. From here, we're going to do the bone level of this movement first. The bone level just concerns posture and alignment. So what we're going to do is slowly straighten the legs, and then we're going to sink again. That's the power of this movement, is sinking and rising. And when we do this, as we do the rise, we're going to open the circle. So we're going to just open it until it's bigger and bigger and bigger, like that. Not like this, not to where you can't see your hands anymore, not to where the circle's gone. You want to keep this bow right here in front of you. The only thing that changes about this circle is the size of it. Right? So from here, I'm going to open it as I rise, and there you've got the circle. So you have to open your wrist a little bit. Here I don't have a circle, here I do. Right? So you don't want to be like that, like this. Then as I sink, I'm sinking into the crease. So sink into the crease and close the circle. Right. So we sit and sink here, rise and open that circle. All the way out to the fingertips. And when you sink, back and down. So you want to have good posture here so nothing collapses. All you're doing in your legs is coming up out of it and going back into it. You want to keep your shoulders down. Don't lift your shoulders. Don't do this. Right, shoulders down. Don't let your shoulders go back too far. So keep it a circle in front of you. And then, yes, rise and open the circle right out to the fingertips. And then sink back into your legs, that's right. And down. And let your fingers almost touch. Good. So that's the bone level of the basic core of this exercise. The next level is the muscle level. And the muscle level is where we work on softness and relaxation and flow and not using any unnecessary strength. So same thing, sit here. Now we're going to do the same motion but just softer and smoother. And when we get to the end, we're not going to stop, we're just going to slow down and back again. So a good muscle level point is don't stop, just slow down. So when you get to the end here, we're going to just slow down and then rise and then open all the way out to here. If you notice your shoulders are coming up, back to bone level. If your legs lock, oops, bone level, posture work, then go back to softness and relaxation and making it as smooth as you can. So notice you've got a very small movement to rise here. This is it. And you've got a fairly big movement to open. So you've got to rise slower than you're opening. So you rise slowly so that you're still rising, still rising, still rising, still rising. The rise stops and the hands continue a little bit further. Now, when you sink, same thing. It's a small motion, so you've got to move a little faster in the arms than you are with the sinking. And there. Yeah, and let your hands swing. So now the next step is to go past the bone structure, past the muscle softness and relaxation, to the energy level or the nervous system level or the joint level of this. And that means that you have to suspend your joints a little bit. So they're heavy, but it's like they're on strings. So it's like you're a lead puppet, as I like to say. Like you're a puppet on strings. So you feel heavy, but there's this buoyant, light quality to it. So go ahead and take your position here. Now just soften and relax the muscles and joints of your head. There's first that heavy feeling. Now let there be a little bit of a suspended feeling. Right. And then as you open, that feeling is still going on inside your joints. This is still on. I'm exaggerating it to make it more visible and big, but that's going on. Then you sink and settle. So you have, each level kind of contains the other two. So within this energy level work of softening the joints and letting them float and suspend, you have good posture, you have heavy, soft muscles, heavy, soft, relaxed muscular system. So you rise and open, and you get to the top, you have this nice, loose, comfortable feeling, and then you sink and you close, and you still have it. I'm exaggerating a little bit. There you go. So once you know a movement, and once it's soft and relaxed and heavy, and then once you lighten it a little bit by suspending the joints and have this free-form feeling here, the next step is to connect to your breathing. So in this case, it's pretty obvious. I'm doing it a little bit at an angle so we can both see, but if you're doing this facing forward, your feet are parallel, pointing towards the wall you're facing. Your hands are like this. And then you open straight forward like that, and then you close. This is kind of bone level, a little bit rigid. Now, soften the muscles and do it smoothly. Don't stop, just slow down and then back. Now I'm going to soften my joints and let them float a little bit, so I have the suspended joint feeling in here. And I'm going to inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth as I sing. Inhale. Exhale. So let's try that a couple times. So settle in here. Here's your circle. Now rise and open as you inhale. Pause for a beat and then exhale. Pause for a beat. Inhale. Pause, slow down, and exhale. Yeah. The last step is your intent. In this case, the intent is pretty easy, and the movement is a little bit complicated, but the intent is really easy. And the intent is to expand and swell larger when you do your movement. And when you're done there, exhale. Think shrink. Think everything gets smaller. Everything bigger, systemically, everything in your body. The intent is to expand. In our style, every movement that we do has an expansive phase and then a contracting, smaller phase. So it opens and then it closes. So this just gets you used to that. It gets you used to that rhythm. So let's try that. So, in fact, let's do one rep with each level. So, circle and sit. Bone level. Circles that open but maintain themselves and don't lift your shoulders. Right. Sink and settle. Now muscle level, heavy, slack, soft. You're going from sticks to ropes. So the ropes are just very, very soft and very, very heavy feeling. Almost like you're about to fall asleep. And then down. Sinking into that crease. Yes. Now, energy level. Float the joints, suspend the joints. Inhale as you intend to expand. And exhale as you intend to shrink. Inhale. So there's two more variations of this one that I'm going to work with Wesley on a little more detail once we turn the camera off, but I thought I'd just show them to you. From here, I do it forward like this. I'm going to get back to be sure I'm in the camera range here, because we just have a tripod today. This is my basic movement. Now I'm going to lift to the right. I'm going to lift my left heel and push my weight over to the right as I open. Same circle here. Don't twist this knee. Keep this knee and hip more or less facing forward. It's more on your waist than this hip in turns. And then come back to center as your heel comes down. And then sit again into this crease. Sit. Then another one forward. And then sink and sit. And then to the left. My left, your right. I'm lifting my heels. I'm pushing with that foot over to this side, and I'm letting that push and turn, letting the centrifugal force now help me open up to the side like that. And then as I close, my heel comes down. So the closing corresponds to the heel coming down. Once I'm down, then I sink. So again, one set of doing it this way is rise and open. I'm going to go a little bit faster. Sink and close. Rise and open. Heel down, close, then sink. Rise and open, sink and close. Rise and open, heel down as you close, and then sink. The other variation, which will give your arms a rest, is you open first. Now when you close, you just sink a tiny bit and just let your hands drift back together, and then turn your palms down and sink. Let the hands come down. So you still have the same circle that you had before. It's just changing angle here. And now from here, when you come up, you've got to spin your wrists and find that same place you were in before. Not here, not here, not here, not here, but right here in this comfortable place. Then again, I'm going to close as my heel comes down, palms down, and sit and sink. And the intent is the same. Inhaling and expanding like you're a balloon, like a parade balloon, just expanding right out to your fingertips. And then gently, softly shrinking, and then getting smaller and settling there. So it's opening, all the joints opening, everything reaching, swelling, but not to the point where you lose your posture. And then everything closing, everything getting smaller, shrinking down. Rise as we open. We're going to close first and then sink. Here we're going to rise and open together. Close first, then sink. Rise and open. Close first, then sink. Rise and open. Close first as your heel comes down. And then settle. So that when you do that move, this is a big movement that has to correspond to a really little one. So the heel comes down slowly and the arms circle more quickly. And then you sink and sink. So you rise and open, close, sink. I always do one more facing forward just so I finish the same direction. So the main difference between the two is that when you're doing the one without the palms down, you can rise and open and close at the same time. Open and rise, close and sink. When you're doing the forward version with the palms down, you rise and open, close first, and then sink. I find that works a little bit better. So it's a nice one to do in the morning when you wake up. It's a nice one to do in the evening when you go to sleep. Nice full breaths. It's taking an 80% inhale or exhale. We don't want to inhale so much that we're gasping for air, and we don't want to exhale so much that we're pushing it out. About 80% comfortable breath. We're coordinating our breath, which expands the lungs and lets them contract, expand and contract the diaphragm, working, connecting that to a systemic expansion of our whole neuromuscular system. So we're doing that at the same time that we're breathing. So eventually, just the slightest rise will cause, you'll feel that happen just immediately. It's just the connection is just there between rising and falling and opening and closing. When we get to the actual Tai Chi movements, the breathing is different. We breathe according to the function martially. So if I'm punching, I'm exhaling. whether I'm getting bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter. In the Qigong, we tend to inhale when we're expanding and getting bigger. But in the Tai Chi, here's a defensive movement where you're getting bigger, we would inhale. Here's an offensive movement where you're getting bigger, we would exhale. So it's more tied to the function, yeah. But in the Qigong, it's usually just a good idea to inhale as you get bigger. Your lungs are getting bigger, everything's getting bigger. There's not a combat emphasis on this one. It's just about your whole system expanding and then your whole system shrinking. So it's kind of like flushing things out, like kind of like a sponge, squeezing and releasing. So good exercise. If you like this kind of thing, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Visit my website, burnett.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for letting me do that. And turn this off.